What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Average Joe and Money Financial Channel, and in this video we are talking about my Robinhood Dividend Investing portfolio. But more specifically, as you know, with my portfolio I own 100% all American stocks. But the time has come for me to add an international aspect to my dividend portfolio. That being said though, I don't know a lot about international dividend stocks. The metrics that apply to the stocks here in America might not be quite the same internationally, especially in emerging countries. So with that said, I am breaking down, if you will, and I am buying international dividend exchange traded funds. So in this video, we're going to break down 3 different international dividend ETFs to see which one is the best fit for my portfolio. Make sure to stick around all the way to the end of the video because we're going to talk about and compare the iShares International Select Dividend ETF, ticker symbol IDV. We're going to talk about the Vanguard International High Dividend Yield Indexed ETF, ticker symbol VYMI, and we're also going to talk about the SPDR S&P International Dividend ETF, ticker symbol DWX, to figure out which of these international, excluding the United States, dividend ETFs is the best fit for my Robinhood dividend portfolio. You know how it is on this channel. I hate BS. I hate videos that are long and drawn out. So let's go right to the data here. Let's talk about these 3 different international dividend ETFs. Let's look at the actual data. Let's go ahead and jump onto my computer screen. All right, guys, so we're looking here at my Robinhood dividend investing portfolio. And as you can see here, value is $41,875.36 as of the previous market close. Let's take a look here at my account. You'll see here that, look down here, I own 35 different stocks right now in the portfolio. All of them are domestically here in the United States as far as their origin country. You know, obviously these are global companies, but they are based here in the United States. Anywhere from Premier Financial, Unum, Bank First, all the way down to companies like 3M, Genuine Parts, Johnson & Johnson, and Valero, all these different companies spanning many different industries here. But I need to add an international aspect here just to give my portfolio a little bit of balance. But I want to make sure that I'm not sacrificing yield here. So I wanted to take a look at 3 different dividend ETFs internationally here. So let's just jump right to the first one right now. We'll start by looking at the iShares International Select Dividend ETF, which I've got on the screen here with Morningstar. As you can see here, the most recent share price is $26.55 per share. And then if we pop over here, well, the first thing I'll look at here is the expense ratio. You know, one of the things I'm going to have to deal with having an exchange traded fund is I'm going to have an expense ratio. All 3 of the ETFs have an expense ratio. For iShares International Select, we've got an expense ratio of 0.49%, meaning that for every $10,000 invested in this ETF, it would be $49. Let's go ahead and pop over here and take a look at performance. Now, as you have talked about many times on this channel, when it comes to my Robinhood dividend investing portfolio, I am not looking for capital gains. Now, I'm not going to argue with them, but ultimately I'm looking at income and the sustainability of the income moving forward. I'm not trying to grow this so I can cash out one day. I want to be able to live off of these dividends in 4 years and then moving forward after that, because I've got this big RV trip for the whole year for our family of 6, which I've talked about previously, and I'll keep you guys updated on as that progresses. So we look here at performance. I will just mention it because there might be others of you out there that want to add an international ETF and are looking at performance and potentially capital gains and cashing out from an ETF. So if we look here for the iShares International Select Dividend ETF, we can see here, let's go scroll down to returns here. The year-to-date return is down 17%. These returns are as of the actual day, August 28th of 2020. Year-to-date down 17%. 1-year return down 2%. 3-year return down 1.78. 5-year return is positive, finally 3.22%. And 10-year 4.44%. So let's pop up here to the distributions, because that's the big reason why I'm looking at this ETF. Distributions here. So I'll switch this over to table. So annual distributions here, you can see that it has been growing every year. 2016, $1.38 per share annually. 2017, $1.52. 2018, $1.70. 2019, $1.72. And 2020 on track to increase their dividend there as well. So the dividends are increasing. That's one of the big things I look for if I can get it. And then you can see here that their annual dividend, you got to combine these 4 quarters here, right here. The dividend is paid out quarterly here, so to figure out what that dividend is, that dividend yield based on that share price, we need to add in here. So we'll go we'll take those 4 right here, these June, March, December, September. We need to add these 4 dividend payments together and divide by the share price to get the current dividend yield. So we'll go 0.2971 plus 0.799 plus 0.3834 plus 0.2794, and then divide by 26.55. So per share right now, and just multiply by 100 here just to keep it easy to look at here. 6.62% dividend yield. That's great. That's higher than what I'm getting right now with my overall portfolio, which is a double win for me. I'm increasing my dividend yield. I'm also getting international exposure. So that's the dividend yield here. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the portfolio, because one of the things I want to look for here, I'm looking for diversification by going international, but I also don't want to dilute my earnings and my yield by having thousands of stocks. I don't need thousands of stocks. I'm looking for international exposure, but I don't need thousands of stocks. So let's go ahead and scroll down here. The portfolio is made up here, as you can see, non-US equity, 98.78%. We scroll down here to the actual portfolio. You can see it is 95 different holdings. I'm good with 95 holdings. And if you scroll down here, the top 10 holdings here, right here, are listed. Companies like Rio Tinto, British American Tobacco, Total SE, Hang Seng Bank Limited, etc., Natural Energy Group. And the top 10 holdings represent 32% of the portfolio, which kind of models after the S&P 500, though we're just getting 95 holdings instead of 500. So that is the iShares International Select Dividend ETF. Let's go ahead, and that one actually performed really well. I like that one. Let's go ahead and look at the next one here. That's going to be the Vanguard International High Yield Dividend Index ETF, and that is VYMI. So the share price as of the market close on Friday was $55.01 per share. And then you can see here the expense ratio. No, in particular Vanguard fashion, right? What we come to expect, Vanguard has lower expense ratios, and that is at 0.27%, meaning for every $10,000 invested in the ETF, it would be $27, almost half of what the other ETF was. Let's go ahead and pop over here to performance. This ETF has actually not been in existence very long. It was created in 2016, and if we scroll down here to the trailing returns, we've got a year-to-date return of 12%, a 12% loss, and then the one-year return is positive 0.41, and then the three-year return is negative 1.6. And then if we go over here and look at dividends, let's go ahead and switch over to distributions here, and we'll pop that over to a table. We can see here that the dividend has been increasing, although 2020 looks to be lower due to the COVID pandemic. If we look here, 2016 was 1.35 per share annually, $2.14 for 2017, $2.41 for 2018, $2.68 for 2019, and then it almost fell off a cliff. Now we're only 2 dividends into 2020 right now, but it's a lot lower than it usually is. And if we look historically, we can see that the September and the December dividends historically are not the highest of the two. So we're definitely going to see a dividend decrease this year with Vanguard's Dividend ETF International. So to calculate that dividend yield right now, we need to get those 4 different dividend payments together. So it's going to be 0.5169 plus 0.2772 plus 0.5610 plus 0.6588 divided by 5501. Dividend yield is actually not too good. It's only 3.66%, which is almost half of what the other dividend ETF was. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Let me minimize the calculator. We'll take a look at the portfolio now. This dividend ETF is a lot different than the other two because it has a massive amount of holdings. As you can see right here, equity holdings, 1,232 different holdings in this ETF. The top holding is from Taiwan, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, 3.96%, and then Novartis 2.01, Toyota 1.65, and then Sanofi 1.3. So a lot of diversification with this dividend ETF, but that's not exactly what I'm looking for here. I'm looking to maintain or keep close my dividend yield. I don't want to sacrifice yield to get this exposure. So I'm definitely preferring the other dividend ETF we just looked at as opposed to the Vanguard ETF. But we've got one more to look at here. So let's pop over to the SPDR S&P International Dividend ETF, ticker symbol DWX. The share price, $35.23 per share, and the expense ratio is 0.45%. So $45 for every $10,000 invested, or $4.50 for every $1,000 invested. Let's pop over here to performance, and the trailing returns here, a year-to-date loss. We can look right here, total return based on price, right in here. So year-to-date return, is a 10% loss. 1 year return, 2.96% loss. 3-year return is 0.3% loss. 5-year return is positive at 4.27%, and 10-year is up 1.97%. So relatively flat over 10 years. But again, we're not buying this for performance or really even diversification for capital gains. We're looking for dividends. So let's pop over here to the distributions, and let's look at the table here for the dividend history. We've got 1.89, 1.58, 1.76, 1.76, and 0.69. So with 2020, with this ETF as well, we're going to see a drop in the dividends being paid out. But it was never really a consistent dividend increaser. We saw that it was up and then down and then kind of staying flat. So let's look at the current dividend yield. We will pop up our calculator here, clear that out, and we'll take the top most recent 4, the trailing 12 months of dividend payments. So we've got 0.4539 here from June, 0.2411 from March, 0.6087, and then 0.3867. So trailing 12 months, we're at 169.04 divided by the share price, which is 35.23, 4.79% dividend yield, which is not bad. It's better than Vanguard, not quite as good as the first ETF we looked at. So overall here, looking at this 3 different dividend ETFs, I know that Vanguard gives us more exposure, more diversification with their portfolio. That being said though, I'm not looking for a massive amount of diversification. I've only got 35 stocks in my portfolio to begin with. I'm not looking for thousands and over diversifying here. I'm looking for international exposure. And that first international ETF is what I'm looking at here, and that was, let's pop back over here, the iShares International Select Dividend ETF, ticker symbol IDV, is one of the ETFs I plan on buying here in September of 2020. So that's what I wanted to cover with you guys here, and once I do buy that, I will share with you what my dividend yield is in my portfolio as a result of including that ETF. But I want to hear from you guys. What is your international exposure for your dividend portfolio? Make sure to leave your 2 cents in the comments below. Let me know if you think I'm buying the wrong international dividend ETF and what other holdings you recommend as well internationally. Make sure to leave your 2 cents in the comments below. And if you haven't done it yet, I highly recommend you subscribe to this channel and click on that notification bell to select all notifications to be alerted to all of my weekly videos. I usually put out 3 personal finance videos each and every week. We do have a bent towards investing here, both dividend investing and growth investing, but we also talk about all things personal finance that affect people like you and me, the average Joe, whether it's budgeting, paying off debt, investing long term, or for dividends now, and everything in between. So if that resonates with you, you should consider hitting that subscribe button and joining the average Joe and money financial community. That's all I've got for you guys today. Have a great rest of your day, and please continue to stay safe both physically and financially. Have a good one.